right, fellas. It's time for a new segment of the show. Been talking about this to these guys offline about it. Very heavily inspired by Mr. Bill Burr. I think just having an update middle of the month, kind of telling you guys what's going on in my life, checking in on some people, having some guest appearances from my homies, maybe some other folks outside of the normal clan. You know, just something different to spice it up, but still keep it in the BFM realm. So for this, and I guess I should say the name because I think it's a little quirky, probably a lot heterosexual. We're calling this Tulip time.
Oh, Jesus, really? All right, fuck it, I'm down.
Dude,
that sounds pretty good.
I sat with the name for
that sounds pretty good.
For 2 weeks, and then I texted Taylor. I was like, hey, I'm thinking of this new segment where I do this. And she goes, I think it's a really good idea. Are you going to change the name? I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about Tulip time. And she's like, that's the gayest thing you've ever said, but I love it. I'm all in. We'll call it TT.
That's good. Tea time with Tulip.
Dude, I thought about that one too. I was like, okay, when I can get people here, like I was going to do it with Brendan when he came and visited 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, we could have some tea, maybe maybe an adult beverage, like some whiskey or something. I was like, that's probably the realm I want to go into. So anyways, this first episode, we were already having a real talk, and we got into this topic of what do we really want to do, and I always come across these thoughts, in my day-to-day life. I didn't finish college either. I dropped out because I wanted to make money. I wanted to live the life I was living, with all the booze, the drugs at the time, and stay in San Diego. And I mean, that realm worked for a while, but there was a certain point I'm like, I think I want to go back to school. And, I did. But at the end, I was like, I think the money is really what I want to chase right now. And,
Your heart's not in it? Or it's weird because was your heart ever in it in the first place? Yeah, that's a weird feeling. At least for me.
Well, I can break it down for you. So for me in the beginning, when I went to school in Riverside, hold on, give me a second. When I went to Riverside, I felt like I had to prove something to myself and to all the people that had told me I was never going to amount to anything. Because, I had a scholarship to private school when I was younger, and I broke the scholarship. I was like, dude, these people are assholes. The only people that were cool with me there that I really liked were the girls, my homie that hit me up last night who's married and wants me to meet her husband.
Yeah.
All those girls were super cool, but the dudes, they were a whole bunch of douchebags. And then, just having a racist principal who anytime something went wrong with the school, he'd be pulling me into the office. I'm like, dog, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm learning about stuff that happened in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, not to the extent, but I know the feeling, just by being here. So I left, and everybody was like, dude, you're never going to go to college, this and that. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I'll figure out my own, I'll carve out my own path at the end of the day. I went to Riverside, and I was working, 40 plus hours a week at CVS.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if this is really for me right now, but I was in school for 2 years. I got a lot of my credits done, but I think just me wanting to live life, and also at the same time, I was trying to understand who I am as a person, and finding really what am I all about in this life and all that kind of stuff. So that steered me away from school and then went more towards, well, I need to have the finances to keep doing what I'm doing because I don't want to go back home. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go back to the desert and hear from my parents. I know none of my friends would be like, hey, dude, it didn't work out. You can always come home. I can hear that from friends all day long. That's fine. But to hear it from your own parents who always told you were never going to do anything, you could end up just like your older brother knocking up some chick, and it's going to be the whole same sad sob story. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. So I did everything possible to keep that life aboard and moved over when I came to San Diego. And then when I got here, things became a little bit more manageable. I got lucky with a job I had when I worked at the spa. They would let me go to school, and they would work around my hours, and it was really good. So I did another year of school, and then I was even closer to finishing. I think I just needed 2 or 3 more classes to finish up the GED, but spa went down under, had to find a new job. That's where I ended up at the lab doing IT. And there I was like, wow, this is actually really good money. At the time, $20 an hour. Like, I was like, I've never seen this, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to pass that up for sure.
You know, and then it went up to 23 an hour.
Yeah, it's really hard to pass that
And
up.
I was like, oh, dude, fuck yeah, you know? So then I figured, you know what? Maybe I can still go back to school and still have this money. Unfortunately, the boss I had at the time was not kosher with that, even though he was always telling me, hey, you should study more. And I'm like, well, I'm reading 1,000-page manuals every single day that I come in here for IT stuff, but this isn't really what I want to do.
Right.
You know, I never saw myself working behind a desk and doing IT work all day long. Like, not to say it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
The problem solving stuff is what really kept me going with it.
It's like one of my friends said, dude, we just have to stay hungry. And that's like a normal, I guess that's normal for everybody, since both of us are kind of like that. Like, we're never satisfied with, I mean, and it's, I think it's a normal thing because we're still in our 20s. And like,
yeah.
There's still a lot left. I don't think we should be satisfied for like a lot of things.
100%, dude. I had this really good friend. I don't know if you ever met him. His name was Nishan. Super cool guy. Got to meet him one day. But he had told me one day when we were smoking at work, he goes, you know, you're comfortable, man. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, you're really comfortable here. I'm like, yeah, I mean, they give me a good paycheck. Like, my boss is an asshole, but I get the money I need. I can't complain. I have weekends off, like get the holidays off for the first time in my life, you know, like
Right.
It's pretty crazy. He goes, yeah, but I know you and he's not the first person to tell this to me. Definitely not the last. He goes, dude, you're like a shark, man. You're always feeding. You're always growing. You're always having to go to the next move. You know, he goes, you can be comfortable if someone's really taking care of you. He goes, I know Mo isn't taking care of you. Sorry to name drop. But anyways, you know,
I feel the sentiment. Like if I was set, I would just like same thing. Like just comfortability would be. Well, I would try to find the ways in which not to fuck up, you know, and then just to keep doing what I do, keep being the best of what I do.
Yep, exactly.
Just to keep that, but like at the same time have some kind of like, without trying to say comfortability, like you kind of, but like it's kind of negative in a way.
Yeah, no, I'm picking up what you put down.
You kind of like. You do get comfortable, but and with that comes like the margin of error becomes like bigger because you know what you can get away with, like subconsciously.
Exactly. You know, and when you told me that, I was like, you may be right, man. Maybe there is something else out there for me, and I just don't know it yet. So I started applying to jobs, and I got a lot of interviews. Well, there was two I really wanted. So one of them was being a manager at a wine shop in San Diego. And that's when I was super big into wine. I was like, dude, you're going to pay me $30 an hour to do what? I'm in, dude. I'm in. I just got to talk to people, manage the shop, order wine. Like, I can order what I want. Be a great day, you know? Still the same thing, 9 to 5. Maybe some days you work a little bit, you know, longer, but it's hourly. It's not salary. So I'm like, I could do overtime. And then the other one was the travel gig. But they told me I was overqualified. And I was like, well, fucking Christ, man.
You know, overqualified? No.
I was overqualified, and I was like,
I don't know that was a thing.
It is. It really is a thing.
What the fuck?
And I was like, damn. He goes, but we might have something else for you because it was supposed to be more of an IT position and not the travel thing. So the travel was kind of like the offset. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'll try it out. And I mean, lo and behold, 3 years later, I'm still doing the same thing, working for the company.
Now, let me ask you this, because what about it? Like it kind of has to do with like my position right now. If you didn't like the job within like say the 2 weeks, would you just give it a month, or what's your I guess span of time before you think that it's not
worth it?
Yeah,
I got to take a lot of things into consideration. Let's go back in time for a little bit when I was with Delaney. You know, when I was working 3-4 jobs, you know, I didn't ever have a day off for like 4 months, you know, where I was a painter, I was doing marketing, and I was working at Kmart. And then I would do, you know, my slinging on the side, like just a whole bunch of different drugs. And every single one, I was like, I'm going to wait to see how I feel after a month. And if it's not good, I'm going to drop it. Like the money really wasn't the issue for me. It was more of, I need to stay busy. I gave each one about 2 months, and I'm like, okay, I can't do the painting thing anymore because I'm getting up at 2 a.m. I'm making my breakfast if Delaney's mom didn't help me out with it, you know, the night before. And then I'd be there till about 10, 11, drive from Murrieta to Ontario, go to the marketing job, work 5 hours there, and then go straight to Kmart. And after a while, I was like, I'm getting burned out. I can't do this anymore. But the one I dropped first was Kmart, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with these people. No, the one I dropped first was the painter stuff, because I'm like, that's too much for me. So then I had the marketing, and then I had Kmart, and then my contract was up with the marketing gig at the phlebotomy school. And I was like, all right, dude. They asked me, like, do you want to continue on? And I was like, I don't really see myself doing marketing. It's like, I don't really think that's for me.
Did you, so they let you work while you were working, 2 other jobs?
Yeah, because a lot of it was like driving around and dropping off flyers and then doing stuff online. So I was able to do that stuff, in between, shifts and all that kind of stuff. So
your mind was always on.
Exactly. So it worked out, and then when the contract ended, I was like, my mind needs a rest, So then I stuck with just Kmart. And then I got tired of that. There was way too much robbery. There was a whole bunch of knife points and gun points on my shift, and people stealing, and I was like employee stealing, and for me to have to call them out, it wasn't a good environment, because they're like, "Oh, we can fuck you up." I'm like, "Yeah, well, threats are threats, dude. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. I know who it is. I can sue you. At the end of the day, that's what's gonna happen." Then I found myself working at the restaurant, which was awesome, because I went from a cashier to a server, and that's where I made all the money, and it was great. It was a good time. And then I came out here. But to answer your question, from my long tangent, I look at what my necessities are. Do I have to do this? Do I need the money? Does it supplement what I need in order to kind of keep going? And am I able to put just a little bit away at a time? And if it can meet all the criteria, then I'm in. Then I'm in for the long haul until something presents itself to me, or until I'm like, what are the jobs out right now? Is there anything closer to home? Is there a different field I can try to go into? What else is out there? So then I would just apply, even if it's for things I have no experience for, because I'm really good at faking it till I make it. But when I get there, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm in. I have to learn, and I'm super quick about it. I'm reading stuff on my lunch break. I'm reading stuff at home, educating myself in a way a classroom couldn't even teach me. The drive was there for me to want to learn. That way I could do better at this job, because this is now giving me more than the previous one, and I don't want to fail.
That's good, because that's all good at what you're saying, because it's actually helping out with a bit with this thing I got going on right now. But continue.
I'm glad, but that's my mentality. If I can get my foot in the door, then I can do everything else from there. When I worked at the spa, I was a fucking towel boy, dude. I started off as towel boy, folding towels and prepping the massage rooms and the facial rooms and throwing away dirty laundry. I did that for 4 months while working at Journeys. That was the shit show, because I realized as good as I am at selling things, I don't want to be a salesman. So I left there, and I did full-time at the spa. And when I decided to go full-time at the spa, they're like, hey, let's make you a front desk. I'm like, cool. Now I'm towel boy and I'm a receptionist. Big whoop, but it gave me more money. It gave me the sense of okay, I can still survive. I can still just do this. And then I started teaching myself more about the modalities of the spa, what actually goes in and out of it. How does the business really work? What kind of people walk in here? What are they looking for? So all that kind of salesman approach that I had in Journeys kind of rolled on over to this, especially when it came to selling retail to people. Hey, you might want this lotion or this kind of facial product, and I can bring the therapist to come and beef it up for me, and then we can split the sale. And then at that point, I was like, okay, well, what else can I do here? So then they made me a supervisor. And I'm like, cool, great. And then the owners were like, hey, we need someone who knows computers. I'm like, well, I know computers, but what do you need? So that was really my bridge into the IT world, so to speak. Then I started reading more. I'm like, okay, now I have the next thing to learn. So I was always looking for what is the next thing to learn for me to get more money at what I'm doing and not have to leave anywhere else, get the experience points that I need. That way I can level up, get a new position, or even just go somewhere else. I took this one IT course. It was basic help desk support at the college out here. I remember one of the things the professor said.
Just one class?
Just one class, dude. It was for basic stuff, how to use command prompt, it was super basic stuff. And it was at the city college in downtown. And I remember the one thing he said that stuck with me, and it still sticks with me today. He said, IT is very similar to all the jobs in the world. You get your experience, you climb the ladder, and once you hit the top, you jump to the other ladder and you climb that one up, and you just keep going from ladder to ladder to ladder. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to hold that with me. And then when I got to the lab, I'm like, well, my boss is not going to promote me any farther. He doesn't want to leave. I'm kind of stuck here at my $23 an hour, which again is not bad for the situation that I had, but I couldn't do anything more. Like, I had capped out.
It's better than most people have, for sure. That's for sure.
100%, dude. You know, but when Nishan told me that comment, I was like, damn, dude, I went on my own beliefs for so long just because I was comfortable in a place that I really wasn't entirely comfortable in, because I was thrown into all these situations with the FDA and with all these different kinds of pharmaceutical agents, and they would come to IT obviously for like all these questions, and a lot of them I didn't have answers to. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to give you the wrong one. They're like, okay, well, can you go find the answer? Go to my boss, he'd be like, oh, that's your job. And I'm like, well, fuck you too, dude. You know, so again, good pay, decent pay, but in the long run, I mean, especially in the long run, since they shut doors like 2 years ago, like, it was the best decision I could have ever made. So then fast forward to the job I have now, and it's great, dude. You know, like, I got lucky with the sign-on, you know, with the pay that I have, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else, like, profession-wise, like working for somebody. You know, I mean, obviously I would love to create music for other people, like write video game soundtracks, like compose all these things, but that's all going to come with experience and me doing my own homework, keeping that same mindset that I had at a job. Like, what's the next thing I need to learn, you know? And I think that's, light bulb just turned off in my head. Like, maybe that's why I haven't made that bridge yet, because that's not my job. It's a hobby, it's a passion, but how can I pursue this passion if I don't give the same kind of mindset to that I do with actual work, if that makes sense?
For sure. I feel like it's not too late either to like start at the beginning.
100%, dude.
With what you actually want to do.
100%.
It's like the hardest part is just, you know, trying to fucking figuring out what it is.
Exactly.
Instead of like getting pushed into a general direction where you just see at the very end you get it honestly, you don't know what you get, because anything can happen. And maybe that's like the fear in most of us, where it's like you don't know what's gonna happen, so you don't know what's the wrong choice,
the right choice.
Then again, the wrong choice is the right choice.
Exactly.
Because it's just you just gotta commit to that one, and maybe that's the commitment part that's been freaking me out this whole time. Is just committing to something that I don't even know if I want. But I wanted to choose something. Right. But I don't know where to start.
Yeah. Well, dude, you know, this is in the same realm of what you're saying. So there was that one time I was out on the road. It was pretty recently, and Julian was in the chat, and Danny was in the chat, and they were talking about the girl at the time that Julian was really into. I think he popped in towards the end. But he was talking about this girl, and he goes, I just don't know, man. I don't know what's the right or wrong thing to do. Like, I want to hang out with her, but she gives me these impressions of otherwise, and she told me she's talking to all the other dudes. And I'm like, look, man, I'm going to tell you to you straight the way I live my life. I take the chance, dude. And if it's a bad experience, it's a bad experience, but I learn from it. And if it's not a bad experience, then great, then I win, you know? But even if it is a bad experience, you still win because you learned something from it. You didn't just go idly by and like not learn something from it. Like, we're not those kinds of people. I know people like that. Like, she who will not be named, you know, she was exactly the same kind of person. Like, you would, and it's not to say like if you go through something traumatic, you don't have the ability to learn from it. No, you definitely do, but sometimes you're hindered by it. You know, sometimes there's that stint that you're like, I have to get over this. And we're those kinds of people. Like, we will get over it. We will climb over it. We are the shark. We will find the blood. We will keep eating. But sometimes there's no food in the area. And like I've always told you for years, sometimes the soil is just bad. Nothing grows in bad soil. So you have to uproot yourself and go somewhere else. Riverside, for me, I was there for 3.5 years. That place was not for me, man. Like, some of the friendships I made were great. You know, I miss those people a lot. Others were not so great, you know. the city was shit to me. I was robbed so many times.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and all these terrible things happened to me. And I was like, and I just wasn't, I was growing, but I felt the cap. I felt the cap, especially when I had my first ass trip. I'm like, I have to go. I can't be here anymore. This is not for me. So then I uprooted and I came to San Diego, and everything went better for me at that point. And that's when I was like, you know what? This is the right soil for me. And I will be here, and I will grow, and I will continue to flourish. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. There was a couple people I met in my time here, and they were like, wow, you just really, like, I would always talk about, like, how much I want to keep going, you know, and that's what they remember me for. They're like, no, Adam's always doing something. He's always trying to better himself because that's what he believes in. That's his motto. Like, how can I grow? How can I move from this? Like, when I met up with Homegirl, you know, last week, and her and I were talking, she's like, I don't understand how people don't feel that they should not grow anymore. And I'm like, 100%, I agree. I think it's a really powerful and important mindset for people to have in just their day-to-day life. Like, how can I be better than I was yesterday? Even if it's something small. Like, I drank another bottle of water today. I drank another glass of water than I did the day before. That's good. Take those small victories, because it's the small victories that win the war. Nobody wins a war overnight. It's the baby steps that grow into something much more powerful. And looking back now, as I've been talking about it, those little steps I would make to teach myself, to educate myself in the profession, and then leave, I'm like, no, that's exactly what I had to do. I had to get those small victories, that little bit of knowledge to keep me going, and then move on to the next area. And sometimes you're stuck in a spot for a while. Like, I was at the spa for 2.5 years. You know, I was at the lab for another 2.5 years. It's just, it's funny. Sometimes you look back at your life and you see the stepping stones, right, of how you got to where you are now. Mm-hmm. And then you can either be really proud of yourself, which I think most people should, or you can be like, wow, that's all I did. Which, again, it's a good and bad thing. But I think people should really be proud of what they've done, because they got to somewhere, probably left a toxic environment, probably left something that was just terrible for them. Or maybe just a comfortable spot that they're like, no, but I want more out of my life, which people should want more, you know? I think it's just such an important way to live your life. Is to think like, wow, life is good, but how can I make it better? And that might be like the entrepreneur part of my brain that's like always kicks out at me, you know, like, oh, you can do more. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to put my brain to the max like I used to, because I burnt out and I crashed everywhere. Mm. But that's my life past couple years, you know, and I think just for the purpose of these drink time with Tulip, tea time with Tulip, Tulip time, you know, it's just talk about the other big fucking mood, life, the important things, the vicissitudes of life, what make life good, what makes life bad, and all the in between. Like, dude, I lost this lighter for a full week and a half. And the first week I was like, I told you, I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. 3 days after I lost it, I was like, dude, I'm going fucking crazy. Where is it? I thought I dropped it somewhere. I thought I dropped it at the bar. And I was like, it's gone forever. And this is like one of my most treasured items. And I had dreams about it. And I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, if Taylor knew, she'd fucking kill me. She stopped asking me every couple months, like, hey, where's the lighter at? Because she knows I'm real bad with Zippos. And I bought a new one. I bought a brand new one. It was the only one left on Amazon for $160. I was like, it's not the same one, but I'll take it. You know, I fucking found this shit, dude.
Nice.
I found this. What was I doing? I was doing something. And I looked at the couch. Because sometimes I'll go sleep on the couch, like in the middle of the night if it's too hot in here. And I just want some fresh air from the fucking window. Yeah. And I looked at the couch and I was like, you're not there, dude. I opened up the middle cushion and I was like, oh my God. And then fucking Amazon guy was like, hey, your package here. I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. So I go and get the package, it's a fucking lighter. And I'm like, well, that's cool. But I found it. That's all that matters.
That's good. That's a great story, dude.
I was fucking pissed, dude. I wanted to yell so loudly, like, you checked everywhere in the fucking book except for that one spot. And that's just because I've recently started sleeping there, and I was like, dude, sometimes I feel like...
You put that shit there when you weren't sleeping there, though.
No, dude, you know what I think is what it was? Is that I think it was in my pocket, and that couch eats up everything. If it falls out of your pocket, it's gone, dude. It's in there.
Yep.
It's like when you're about to get head from some girl, and she has a small mouth, you're like, I don't think she can put it all in there. And then she's like, oh! That's the couch, dude. It sucks it all in just like that.
Dog.
What happened? Bad reference?
No, dude. Dude, live drop right here, right now. I'm just gonna say my storyline.
Let's go.
All right. So, when I was... So, you know the whole shtick about me, like, getting kicked out, right? And then I just stayed with a girl.
She who will not be named either?
Yeah.
Okay.
She who will not be named either?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she, I guess she found my personal right now, and she sent me a message. Like, literally, like, what is it? 10 minutes ago?
Fuck, dude.
So, I'm like...
Hold on, I gotta spark up another one for this one. That's,
Give me one too, dude.
Dude, perfect. We have the lucky right here.
So, I just don't know.
Okay, I got you. Pretty girls don't light their own cigarettes. Remember that, all you pretty ladies out there. You're outside in public. You have a smoke.
Dude, why is
a man better light it for you?
Why is it always like this, man? Like, you put a little bit of thought into something, and then like, you don't have to do shit. You just think about it, and the universe just sends it, like, to you in a way. Cause I don't fucking know, you know?
Can I be real with you, man?
What's up?
So, I have this friend who's a psychic. She's legit. We get into that story another time. But the last time I saw her was when my grandma passed, and we were just talking about, you know, shit afterwards. Like, we would hang out. Really cool girl. Her name was Kelly, and she's an old woman. And then I asked her, I was like, how do we really get what we want, man? You know, I was like, I could do the cards, I could see some stuff in there, you know, but how do we really, as people, as humans, how do we really get to that point of like, yeah, we got it? She goes, you have to know exactly what you're asking for, dude. Like, to the T. And she gave me an example. She goes, you want a girl? Draw out your perfect girl. Draw her out. All her habits, everything that you want, and then put it out there. And, like, consistently be like, yeah, dude. And then you meet some girl who doesn't fit the box. Don't do it. Keep asking for your criteria, dude. Keep asking for your standards, you know, because one day that shit will happen. And look, dude, when I met Homegirl, I was like, oh my God. Like, I told you guys in chat, I'm like, dude, she's hitting every box, bro. This is a nightmare. It's crazy. Because she's so, how did Nikki put it the other day? Unapologetically herself. And so genuine. And I'm like, oh my God. But breaks the mold of every girl I've ever dated in my life. But that's an example. And then, I remember, here's another one. One of the last times Delaney and I ever really went out, as a couple, you know, to like some big thing, we came out to San Diego. we were in a hotel, and I was like, you know, it'd be crazy, man. She goes, what? I'm like, what if I had a job that I would just go places and just do something, like help out the fucking customer, and then I go to the hotel and I could fuck around. Who would have thought that 3 years after that point, I would have a job that does exactly that? When you have the idea, the framework of what exactly it is that you want.
That's not what I want, though.
Oh, well then that's totally different. Then I don't know what to tell you then.
Like, I thought it was clear. Like, I don't know, man. Because there's a lot of things that came into mind right now. because like, so she had a kid like 11 months, like a year after, I think.
After you guys split.
Yeah.
So another child.
Yeah. So I'm thinking,
no.
That's what I want to say, but I don't fucking know now, dude. Because it doesn't let me read the message.
Unless you open it.
Yeah.
That's gay.
Yeah.
Why? Look, programmers out there, help a guy out, man. We don't want it to be seen. We just want to look at it. We just want to know that it's there.
Dude.
See what little bit of the context is. Just the first couple sentences and be like, alright, I'm fucking off.
Dude, like... I don't fucking know, man. It's nuts because I'm gonna say it's a no because like fuck I don't even know if she was that kind of girl, but it seemed like it. Like
I'm gonna be real with you, man. It's like you told me with the last one, dude. I hope you don't go back and talk to her. I hope you don't go and do that. I tell you this. I hope you don't go back and do that, man. Dude, because there are certain people in life that I feel that they just can't be around, dog. They can't be around. It's like I told you, when I decided to stop doing blow and I stopped talking to Angel around the same time, the only person that I ever had blow from was Kaleem. But he was like, you ask me, I'll never ask you if you want some. Because I told him my struggle when I bought it from him. You know, and he goes, I got you, dog. He goes, but if you want it, I also got you, but I'm not going to up front be like, hey, man, I've got this whole load of fucking drugs, you know?
He just, it's there.
Exactly. You know, and he's such a cool guy. I've known him for years, you know, and he's like, dude, if you just want to hang out, we can hang out too. I was like, I'm down, man. I'm down. We go grab a couple drinks, grab a slice of pie. But those people just aren't worth it, dude. It's not. Why add fertilizer to your soil?
What the fuck is going on, man? It's another. So the first, for you guys, the first turmoil I've had going on in my head was like whether or not I should withdraw from this class because it's already too late to drop without anything. And I was talking to Adam before all this that like whether or not I should keep going because. Fuck, the way I'm going, the way I like pay attention and the way I'm absorbing everything right now, it's not, I don't have a fucking, I don't feel like I have like a good track right now. I already missed like 2 big assignments, so I'm already like kind of boned from the beginning. Plus, it's a class that's supposed to be like a prerequisite, and it's like, is that really what I want to fucking do right now though? Like, we're building this fucking podcast community with a few listeners. Appreciate it greatly. I love video games. I'm just streaming that, and I don't know. And like we were talking about before. Like I want more, so I was wondering if doing this would kind of satiate that, and I don't feel it. Like it feels like I forced myself into it because it's what I believe is I guess the way to go about something, but it's not. I don't know.
It might be like
I feel like I just want the experience more than I like the taking. I don't know, man. Just something about taking bullshit classes that like have nothing to do with
what you're supposed to be doing or what you want to be doing.
Right.
Dude, to put it in the best way, from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Too much cheese, not enough macaroni. Or too much macaroni, not enough cheese. Dude, I to add to that, I really want to make comedy a thing, dude. When I spent that last 2 weeks in Irvine, I was sitting there coming up with jokes, coming up with bits, coming up with all these stories. I'm like, yeah, dude, I've been thinking
about taking an improv class.
Dude, let's do it, dude. I'm so down. You know? Yeah. Like, and I sit here and I'll watch Whose Lines Is It Anyway for hours. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I saw one of my buddies at Michelle's thing, you know, a few weeks ago, and I think I told you he's doing stand-up now. But for some reason, he had the gall to ask me what I think. When before, disclaimer, this guy talked mad shit about me. Like, mad shit, right? I'm not going to name drop because he's still a cool guy, but talked mad shit about me. So I was like kind of taken back, right? I'm like, why would you ask me? Like, I would think you like me at the end of the day, you know? But he goes, no, dude, you're funny. You got hitters and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I have a theater background, but I listen to a lot of comedy. You know, like I've grown up with a lot of comedy. Yeah. And a lot of Shakespeare. And I feel like Shakespeare's approach to comedy is like you have a tragedy and you have comedy. You know, the more tragic and the more comedy. So like it's just kind of there for me in my brain. You know, and I really want to make it work. But again, it's like what you said, like, is that if I feel that hunger, is it going to, what is it going to take me? You know, maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't work. Maybe it'll just be something I do like privately with friends at like gatherings, all that kind of stuff. Or maybe I make like a full profession out of it. Who knows? You know? But I feel like it's worth a shot to put in the work for it until I feel negatively from it. Right? So now you're at this point, you feel negatively from it. It's like I told you earlier before we started recording, I'm like, I mean, you could potentially take the W anyway. Why not just write it out? Why not just keep trying? And then they're like, hey, W, you failed. It's like, okay, cool. I got there. I tried. I gave it a chance. Now I can move on. Now I can wash my hands clean. Move on. You know? Now you know for the next thing that you try, reevaluate your surroundings. Like, okay, what could I potentially benefit from this? What could I lose from this? You know, and it's a lot of mental work to do when it comes to these kinds of things. But I feel like it's really important to try to take in as much data as possible. But like Alan Watts says, you can only take in so much data before you have to make a move, because there's infinite amounts of data out there. You can't just sit there and do data collection all day long. You have to make a move at some point. I mean, that really applies to anything in like social gatherings, in private work, in a profession. Like, you can only take in so much of your own advice and other people's advice before you ultimately have to make a decision, or you don't make a decision. It's like Mr. Nobody. Oh, you haven't seen that movie yet, but essentially, it's like he's given two paths, right? He could take one way, go with his father, go the other way, go with his mother, and live two separate lives, or he could do nothing and live a totally different life, apart from both of his parents. We gotta watch that movie next.
But we watched it.
Oh, we did watch it?
I watched it.
Oh, you watched it?
A bunch of times. A bunch of those were with you.
Oh.
Then again, you had like a bottle of wine.
Do you wonder why not always have a bottle of wine?
That was like your third. Who the fuck?
But anyways, it's like that, man. It's like, you gotta take in. You gonna do it?
I'll go a long way. Let's see what happens.
Because sometimes you can see the request.
Why'd she follow me, bro?
Sometimes you can see the request and then like read a little bit of the message before you accept it.
Yeah, that's a request, yeah.
So you can read a little bit of it before you accept it. Yeah, you can open that bitch up. Shit's whack.
Yeah, it's whack.
Capital W.
That's a fucking no, dude.
You know, that's the W I'll take, dude.
You can fuck off, bro. I'm not trying to fucking talk to you.
Your mind is clear now. You feel better. You feel better.
I feel a lot better.
You feel a lot better.
That's so...
But you know what you should do? Delete it right now. That way you can feel a lot better tomorrow. Yeah. Knowing that it's not there anymore.
You know what? That's a good idea.
We out here in Tulip time giving relationship advice. This is why people should send in emails. And that's bigfmoodpodcast@gmail.com. Send in your emails. We can talk about it on Tulip time. We can talk about your relationship advice or what's going on in your life and hammer it away. I'll give you my unprofessional... Boom, dude. The deed is done. The dragon is slain. And now we gotta go rescue Princess Fiona. And that's how we do it here. In the big fucking mood. We live in the mood, dude.
Fuck off. I'm sorry, dude. But, like, I'm not sorry. There's a lot of shit that went down between us.
Oh, I know, dude.
And that is a story for another time. Because right now, dude, You know what? Another time.
You don't gotta relive it. You don't gotta relive it. We can do it. We can do it another time. We can go through both of.
You know what?
She Who Will Not
Fuck
Be
it,
Named, dude.
Fuck it. Like now would probably be a good time because I don't know way I'm not gonna fucking bring her up again.
Let's do it.
But like, we got physical abuse on the board. We got verbal abuse on the board. I'm not gonna put blame on her for this, but I got into pills, like a lot of pills when I was with her. A lot of downers.
But it was in the realm of her area, so I guess we can tie it to it.
Yeah, but I'm the one who decided at the end of the day to take him. So, like, I put that fault on me.
But did she introduce you to it?
Yeah.
Then it's on her.
Yeah, but like, nah, but like, I could have said nah, because a lot of the times it was blow in front of us. And I said no every time. Right. You know.
I see what you're saying.
I don't know what it was, like, she had a kid with her, one kid. Now she has two. But with her, like, I feel like if none of that shit went down, I would have still been with her, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, I look, like, I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like I'm a good role model for a kid. So I don't want to, like, be in that.
Well, I mean, you were early 20s, man. You know, like you're trying to figure your life out. You know,
right.
Like
I didn't know what that meant back then either.
Exactly. You know, and how could that have ever been perceived by a child who doesn't even know how to wash his own ass?
I was just yeah, bro. I was just big brother who was just banging mom.
Exactly.
That's it, dude.
Exactly.
Ooh, boy, I can't say that on here. But
we can say it.
No, dude, I can't.
She'll never find the BFM.
Dude, she found.
Whatever, you gotta say it. But anyways, it was. I met her. I vividly remember meeting her once.
Yeah, I think we went over one time.
Yeah, you guys came out here. I don't remember who else you guys came with, but I vividly remember meeting her.
I think Grant came over.
Probably.
Like when we left.
And I remember I remember thinking, I'm like, she's kind of weird. Not in the good kind of way. I was like, she's kind of strange. Like, I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. But I'm like, God, it's Gerry's girl. I'm not going to get involved in his life unless he asks for unless he asks opinion. I'm not going to say nothing, you know. And again, it's the first time I ever met her. I'm not going to go and say all this nonsense, you know. Mm-hmm. Like, if I had met her a couple times and I saw some behaviors, then I'd be like, hey, man, how do you feel about this? Like, I'm just spitballing, you know. But I wasn't a fan first time, you know. Especially after you told me, I'm like, wow,
honestly, the people
I walked out of the venue.
The people she... Yeah.
Take my money.
The people she hung out with, because a lot of the times we wanna go drink at, like, her friend's house, who were also, like, ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
We went... I don't know, dude. It wasn't my kind of crowd.
Yeah.
It was, like, a bunch of
people you wouldn't see yourself associating with, basically.
I took it as, like, an older crowd. So maybe something I didn't fit into. But a lot of the people were kind of, like... I don't know, man. It's, like... I want to say rich white people, but it's not... Like, it was everybody. So it was, like, a weird kind of crowd. Either way, it's like, fuck, you don't like my friends. I don't like your friends. But then again, she's like, she really fucked with Grant a lot. For some reason.
Who doesn't fuck with Grant?
I know, right?
He's a lovable guy. He's our token white boy. Like
also Akil too, but like same again, fucking dude. Same tier.
Token black guy. Everybody's got to have one of each, you know.
Oh, but that's because but that's because Akil is really tight with her side of the family, dude.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, dude? I met Jay before I met her, and like, it's crazy, dude. He's already a fucking honorary.
That fucking guy, dude. Yeah, that's a whole other side of the story we're not getting into.
But yeah, like it's just, I don't know, man. Like I still feel like I'm still not over this kind of trauma. Like I'm coming out of it now, because I've just deciding to pay for this like class was like a huge step for me, because it's me doing something, and maybe it's just like the fucking anxiety just telling me like just quit and then just do something else.
Could be, yeah.
But like also this thorn in the mix just brings back a whole bunch of like it brings back a whole bunch of like feelings, memories, and spirals. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not trying to deal with any of that shit. Like right now,
you're trying to battle one monster at a time.
Fuck
dude.
Yeah,
and
dude.
They just came in with a co-op. The Phantom just appeared. Do you beat the Phantom or do you beat the boss first? Well, you just beat the Phantom, so now you can beat the boss.
Yeah, honestly. Dude, it's a crazy time because like it's just like she has like the audacity to come in and saying hope all is well, and I'm like,
yeah, after you lit my clothes on fire, yeah, dude, everything is
and honestly like
could be better.
I'm still thinking about it. Like I don't know how that's like the last straw. How like that was the straw like made me just fucking quit and just leave.
Dude, you know
it should have been the day when like she ripped the clothes off my back and then just like left scratches on me and shit, you know, and then just like I'm like I was fine. I'm like, dude, she actually did that. So I'm like, dude, what the fuck do I do now? Like, do I stay? Do I go now? Like, right, so I just ended up staying, and I'm like, we'll see this happen again. We'll see this happens again.
Yeah.
Dude, it didn't, but then this happened, and I'm like, then the fucking, she lit my clothes on fire happened. And then I'm like, I guess this is fucking game time. I'm done.
Dude, you know, it's like that, it's like one of my favorite Asian proverbs. It's the single snowflake that breaks the bamboo's leaf, dude, and it will take all those snowflakes up until that last one is just like... And then it's done, dude. Bamboo leaf has to grow again a different way.
It's insane, dude. It's really crazy because I don't know, man. It's just wild how that mentality is. Like I thought it was mutual agreement when I just after like last text I'm like I'm not talking to you again.
Yeah, but you know some people feel the need to try and fight for that little bit of interaction with whatever's going on in their life. Like, let's look at the other person who shall not be named, who consistently goes and like follows me and tries to send me a message every now and then. And a lot of it's like instigation, right? Of like trying to get an interaction for me. And it's like, well, I'm not going to give it to you because I don't want you in my life. I don't want this. I don't want everything that you bring to the table in my life, you know, and just being assertive and firm in your silence.
Dude, I hope she doesn't find the Twitch.
Oh, fuck. Let's hope not. You know, but if so, dude, permaban.
Mod Squad's gotta be on point,
dude. That's why every time you stream, I'm like, I gotta watch the guy. And like, when I went to go hang out with Homegirl, I was like, fuck, I'm not watching Gerry stream right now. And I was like...
Danny was there.
Okay, good. I was like...
Mod Squad's come through, dude.
Dude, yeah. I feel like sometimes Danny nights fucking take breaks. Like, we don't even tell each other. It's like, oh, he's here? All right, cool. I'm gonna go do my own thing. I'm like, oh, he's here? All right, cool. You know?
Unspoken. And watch him just say it like I do the same thing. Oh, man, that's crazy.
Dude, but, you know, it's just to go back to, like, to finalize this. Like, I've lived my life in a way where once I realized what was bad for me, after being stepped on for most of my life, once I realized what was bad, I was like, okay, this behavior is not tolerated. I'm expanding my boundaries that I never had in my life. I'm setting them. You know, it's like Dr. Mick says, once you set down your boundary and someone crosses that willingly, you have every right to be like, hey, what's wrong with you, dude? I let you know. I don't want to talk to you. We don't need to have any peace. I'm fine. I'm moving on. I can get over this later on in life. But at least the interaction has to be stopped. And once that's established, you're good. You're good. But when they cross it, you have to be able to sit there with yourself. And at least me, I've sat there and looked at the message. I'm like, I'm not responding to you, dude. I'm not letting you back into my life because of what you did to me or what you did to people around me. And I just don't want any of that, you know? Like, let's look at the guys from Riverside, dude. The bad ones. I'm like, I will never talk to you guys again. Like, one of them was like, hey, happy birthday, bro, you know, on Facebook. But I don't check that shit. I saw it, and I'm like, that's cool, but I'm not talking to you. you know? And then like another one will go and like look at everything that I'm doing on Instagram. I'm like, that's cool, but I'm still not talking to you. And then I'll get a text message from the other one, and I'm like, I'm not talking to you, bro. Those self-destructive lives, I lived one for a very long time, so I know what it's like. And I just can't have that anymore. And people who are just so toxic and stuck in their own shit, who don't even want to grow, but then they want to preach about growing. I can't do that, dude. I can't. I want people around me who, you can be as fucked up as the end of the day. But if you're actively trying to fix yourself, and like there's, like you see results, and then you come back to me and you're like, hey, dude, I did this thing. Like, look at Grant, for example. He's been sober for 6 months. That's fucking incredible.
That's insane, dude.
You know? And like for him to tell me that, I was like, that's pretty cool, man. I'm really proud of you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's that kind of thing, dude. Like, when people do the change, I'm all in.
That's perfect.
I am all in. Like, I will stay with you till the day you die. But if you come to me and you're like, I want to do X, Y, Z, I'm like, that's cool. Do you need help? If you need help, let me know. I could provide some kind of assistance. But then if you come back to me like 2 weeks later, a week later, and you're bitching and whining about, oh, life hasn't changed. I'm like, what have you done? Like, I haven't done nothing. I'm like, well, that's on you.
Right.
Like, the book doesn't read itself. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do what you have to do to get to the next chapter. And if you don't do that, then you're going to be stuck. And I can't do that, man. I've known enough people and hung out with enough people to that extent that I'm like, I cannot do that. I would rather you tell me you're doing the same baby step every single day, and you tell me like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm like, cool. Right on. Let's go. Let's do it. Because one day you'll see a change. One day that person will be like, oh my God, the light will turn on. I'm like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for. They only got there because they were consistent. It's like working out. You want to get to the hot summer bod, hot boy summer, hot girl summer. You got to work out. You got to be at it. You got to be consistent. That's the only way to get there. And if not, you're not going to get there. But that's not to say you can't take breaks in between. You can obviously take breaks in between. Sometimes you get burnt out from trying to do too many things. Like I mentioned earlier with the fucking 3-4 jobs, you know? You get burnt out and take a break. It's well deserved, especially at that point. That's why cheat days exist, dude. Your cheat day could be fucking you wanking off, like looking at the mirror, like, oh, dude, I look great. Or like, oh, life is so good, I just got paid. I'm like, oh, just bust a quick one. It's a good time. Find your favorite porn. Favorite hentai.
Dude, it's nuts.
Look at your favorite pair of titties. Or booty, or, I mean, not us here, but anybody who's listening, maybe it's a cock, dude. Go look at your favorite cock. Go look at all that shit. Whatever makes you feel good after you know you've worked hard, go do it. Reward yourself. But be headstrong in your affirmations and in your beliefs of what you want for your life. And that's the mood. That's the mood right there, man. Be headstrong. And sometimes shit doesn't work out. Like my favorite line in Trees Lounge. Well, everybody's fucked up, but nobody else wants anybody else to know that they're fucked up, so they just kind of, that's it, dude. That's life right there. I'm almost done with my soju.
Finished mine a while ago.
I know. I ran out of cigarettes.
Oh, I was gonna run and get a chair, but I'm good.
This is good stuff, dude. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dude.
Thank you for being here for this shit.
Dude, I'm always here, dude. I'm just like 10 feet away. But thank you, listeners. I hope you guys liked the first episode of Tulip Time. I was planning on this being like once a month. It might be more than that. I still have a lot of things I want to talk about, but I think this is a good stopping point. I think it's not too bad. Thanks again, Gerry, for stepping up, dude. Thanks for being here for the first time. What's your plug, dude? You said you streaming. Go ahead, give us the plug.
Twitch.tv/Gerry Omega. I hope she don't find this.
She's not gonna find it. Don't worry.
That's nuts, dude.
And what you playing? You playing Silent Hill 2? You just started that today?
Oh yeah, man. That's gonna be a great time. We
Did you get to the hospital yet? I didn't see.
No, dude. Like that shit is. I forgot how good of a puzzle game that is, because like for the first hour I was just running around like a headless chicken, figuring out where to go. So I had to pull the gamer move and look up Google on where to go.
Sometimes you gotta do that. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Hell yeah.
And we still got Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2?
Yeah, we still got Dark Souls 2. I was looking at old videos and because I forgot where I was at, and that's not a good thing to do.
No, sometimes you gotta do that. I mean, you were playing the Search for a cool minute, and you finished that one up.
Oh yeah, buddy. I've been really thinking about like, I don't know, quick 30-minute streams, but we'll see where that goes. So you might see me online a few times just as a quickie.
Well, hey, dude, you know, that's all you listeners out there. That's twitch.tv/Gerry Omega. Check him out, Gerry with a G. And I hope to get back to streaming sometime soon. I'll be taking a couple days off next week. Should be a good time. I'm ready for it. I think I need it. I think I need some time to reset after my first full month of therapy, which I'll probably get into next episode. But thanks again. If you guys want to send an email, anything that you're going through, if you had a past relationship that was shit that you want to talk about, anything that you want to say to them that you don't want to say, send an email, dude.
Yeah, we don't judge. Like, we're all good here.
We would never judge you. I will probably tell you an even worse story. So stay tuned for those worse stories with those emails. Again, that's bigfmoodpodcast@gmail.com. And we should have a pretty tasty normal BFM schedule for July. Won't get into the details. But thanks again, guys. And this should be dropping relatively soon. Also, check out Unversed Podcast, More Talk Podcast. That's our family home. And we will see you guys on the next one. And remember, my 2 favorite words from good old Joey Diaz. Stay black.